Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of The New Mutants. The New Mutants is a 2020 film that follows the character of Danielle Moonstar after her family and reservation undergo a tragic event. She finds herself in a hospital for new mutants. But as she and the other patients soon realize, this hospital may be more of a cage that is hiding many secrets behind closed doors. As we know, this was the final hurrah, basically, for the Fox X-Men franchise. Yes, before Disney bought out Fox, they had created the New Mutant, which was supposed to open the door for a new subset under the X-Men franchise. It was also supposed to see the light of day back in 2017. Here we are, 3 years later, multiple hopes, multiple release dates, and we finally have the film. And I've been so excited for the New Mutants for years and years and years at this point. It was on my most anticipated list. It was on honorable mentions for my anticipated list. I love X-Men. X-Men is my jam. They are my comic book property that I grew up with. They're the one I know most about and most focused on. And I love horror films. So when I heard that we were doing a horror take on an X-Men property, I was pumped, especially after we had gotten Deadpool and we had gotten Logan, films within the X-Men universe that were pushing boundaries of what the genre could really be. I had hope that getting a horror film from the same studio would deliver equally amazing results. Unfortunately, there was a lot of strife behind the scenes on this film, to the point where Fox continually pushed it back over a lot of creative differences. And right when Disney had put some faith behind this project, the Rona hit. So, was all of this rigmarole and hoopla worth it? Well, sort of. I think this was a fun film, though not a great one. So, let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. I did really like our cast here. So there's been some controversy, especially from Josh Boone himself just this week, coming out with some foolishness. But I do think the cast that was assembled here was strong, particularly Anya Taylor-Joy, who we know always kills it, was fantastic. And I really liked the way that they brought Magic's powers to life in this film. They were so cool. It may have been a little bit confusing for non-X-Men fans because her powers are a little bit confusing, much like Scarlet Witch. The Marvel just took most of her actual powers away from her over there. But it was awesome. I thought they recreated her powers in a very cool way. I also think Maisie Williams was really strong in this film. All of our young casts do a great job, as does Alice Braga, who was the controversial casting choice. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this now, is the diversity within the cast and the white and or lighter skinned casting that took place, including with Cecilia Reyes, who is a Latin American doctor in the X-Men franchise, but she is an Afro-Latina, so she is a black woman who is also a Latina. Now, Alice Braga is not black, but she is Latina, very clearly Latina. And I do think that's a missed opportunity for the film. But I am glad they at least kept her Latina at her roots, and at least Alice Braga gave a good performance. But I would, moving forward, really like to see that intersectionality. There's so many Afro-Latino and Latinas across the globe, and I would love to see them get the representation they deserve. The other controversy was Henry Zaga as Sunspot, which I love Sunspot. He's a Brazilian character, and Henry Zaga is a Brazilian actor. And I think he did a good job in the film. He looked great. He looked the part. However, Josh Boone had to come out and shoot himself and his film in the foot by saying he was not going to entertain casting a dark-skinned Brazilian because he wanted the character to look like he came from money, from the richest family in Brazil. It's an asinine statement. Absolutely ridiculous. Pro tip. In film, if you style anyone in high-end and or preppy clothes, they read as rich. So it doesn't matter what skin tone they are. They're going to read as rich if you costume them as rich. However, Henry Zaga himself is not a problem as casting. I'm just going to say that now. If Boone had just kept his freaking mouth shut, this wouldn't have been a controversial casting choice because Henry Zaga is actually a Brazilian actor who did a nice job in the role. Also, it was nice to see Blue Hunt, who is a Native American actress, in our leading role of Danielle. If they had included an Afro-Latina, this would have been a really diverse cast. As is, on a base level, they kind of tried. So I'll give them that. But on an acting level, the cast are all pretty strong, with Anya Taylor-Joy being the standout for me personally. I also think the special effects are a highlight in this film, which is a shocker because I thought they were going to look terrible. But there is a bear in this movie that looks so cool and so good. Most everything that comes from magic is really fun and cool. The smile creatures are awesome that bring in a little bit of that horror element. Most of the effects look really strong. And of course, as an X-Men fan, I love the tie-ins, and I love the tie-in to Logan, particularly, as well as, in a way, X-Men Apocalypse. And it's so disappointing that we're not moving forward because who knows if we'll ever get Mr. Sinister on screen. Who knows when that may or may not ever happen, but clearly we were almost there. We have Essex Corp brought up and heavily playing a role in this film. It just makes me sad that the end of the Fox era of X-Men kind of got bogged down and diluted. The building blocks were there to give us a really awesome set of films. But it was still fun to catch all the Easter eggs as we moved throughout. So what doesn't work so well when it comes to the New Mutants? The biggest problem is probably that script. It doesn't flow very well. The film at large actually doesn't flow very well. The middle portion, I think, actually has quite a few pacing problems. But other than that, the dialogue itself isn't great. The rules that are kind of set up within the movie itself also don't hold firm. They kind of ebb and flow as needed, which is always a problem. You got to stay by the rules you establish. And honestly, I wish there were more horror elements. There were some cool creatures. They tried to build tense type of moments in the film, but it definitely feels more superhero-y than horror-y. They go for the atmosphere, they go for a couple of things, but we definitely could have taken it further. But overall, I think The New Mutants is a perfectly fun film. I enjoyed watching it. I was definitely nervous, but still hopeful. And it lived up to about what I was anticipating to get on the screen. It's a fun time with some cool powers, and if you are an X-Men fan, there's enough in here that I think you'll enjoy yourself. Overall, I think The New Mutants is worth a matinee ticket price. Do remember to check your local theaters and make sure that you are staying safe, and of course, only go out to see this film if you feel comfortable and if your health is in a condition to do so. I hope nobody is feeling pressured into participating and going out to do these events when they're not yet ready. And please, everyone, follow all safety precautions set up by your local theater if you do choose to go see this film. So that was my review of The New Mutants. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see The New Mutants, or have you already seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!